You're listening to the Angry Marks Podcast Network.
Well, everybody, welcome once again to TNA, the Impact Implosion here on the AngryMarks Podcast Network. This week's episode will be called TNA's 8 p.m. Middle Finger to the Fans. Joining me as always, I'm Seth Drake, and joining me as always is Mike Poland.
Hello, everybody that didn't leave, which is just us.
Yeah. So I guess we got to talk about some TNA news.
TNA.
Well, of course not. TNA is a stupid company, so... But let's get into some TNA news, because there was some news. There was actually some news. As you know, Alex Shelley is officially gone now. It is official.
Yep.
And I'm not sure this was talked about much, but Don West is gone from TNA too.
I found out about this Monday.
Yeah, I did too.
I was at least hoping he'd
Don West.
I was at least hoping he'd be on Slammiversary.
Now, for those of you wondering,
maybe he's going into the TNA Hall of Fame.
Don West left peacefully, actually, on this one, because there is he gave his notice on departing TNA after he was offered and accepted a position working as the general manager of the Wenatchee Wild hockey team in Wenatchee, Washington, which is a junior hockey professional hockey team. Yeah, so Don West left TNA and told him that he's getting a great deal with this, and he could not turn it down. So that's why Don West is gone. He's going to finish up with TNA this month, but he's gone after this month. So, yeah.
That's
one of the original guys, Don West. He won't be around to sell merchandise anymore. Yep. He'll be gone. But at least it's peacefully, thank God. And not Hulk Hogan
until
being
he got out
dick.
and he was yelling happiness. Until he got
well, that's the only news on
happiness.
Oh yeah, there's another news. Tom Pritchard got fired from WWE, so that means since Bruce Pritchard is in TNA, he'll probably join him. Hooray. Then, but let's get to the TNA show itself.
Yeah.
And we start off the show with the way we had been announced last week. We had a lumberjack match between world champion Bobby Roode and Sting. This is, of course, a non-title match. And
yes,
basically, this really didn't play out like a lumberjack match too much. You'd expect the lumberjacks to get involved, but nope. Lumberjacks basically were just the heel lumberjacks were beating up on Sting, and then getting their rear ends kicked by Sting going into commercial break. And we had a clean finish with Sting making Bobby Roode tap out to the Scorpion Deathlock.
Yay.
So yeah.
Huzzah.
And then because of that, Hogan comes out and applauds Sting and informs us that at the main event of Slammiversary, it'll be Rude defending his title against Sting. While everyone else is happy about this, and Rude looks like, this is it, man, this is it, this is the end. Has the look on his face. All I have to say is, this is your Bound for Glory. This is your not Bound for Glory. I'm sorry, that's later. This is your Slammiversary main event. This is your 10th year in existence, and you're going to have a guy against Bobby Roode, who is now the most dominant TNA champion, versus a guy who might as well go get a colonoscopy. Which means, if you don't know what a colonoscopy is, it's basically shoving a tube up your ass and checking your colon. Sting needs one of those. Anyways, we also get to know that AJ Styles is going to take on Christopher Daniels in our main event for the 9,000th time.
Oh, I mean, it's not a bad match to have as the main event for your first live show. But it has happened about
if it wasn't the 9,000th time we saw it.
The 85-year-long feud.
We also have the fans at home
Brooke
pick a challenger
Hogan
for the television title. And then we also have Brooke Hogan getting hyped. We had a backstage segment where Madison Rayne is ironing out her sash and says she heard Brooke Hogan's going to be here tonight, and she's sure they'll get along fine. By the way, other than Brooke Hogan tonight, that's the only knockout segment you're going to get. What did you say?
She is the knockouts.
Yeah. By the way, that's the only knockout segment you're going to get other than Brooke Hogan. So, yay, equality. On our 8 p.m. first ever live Impact in a while.
Yes, we don't get Mickie James versus...
We also
what? Somebody.
Mickie James, basically, from what I've heard, she was basically did Brooke Hogan's theme music. And I believe Dixie Carter's as well.
That's why it both themes sounded horrible. Oh, wait.
Yeah. Yeah. Then we had Bully Ray coming to the ring.
Female Jeff Jarrett. What?
All right. Okay.
Is it bad that
Bully Ray. What?
So is it bad that when I saw Bully Ray in the ring and I was trying to say, is it bad that when I saw Bully Ray in the ring, I thought it was a replay of the last week's segment? Like, didn't I see this last week?
You did, and you saw it this week as well, because Bully Ray calls out Joseph Park, who just happens to be in the crowd again. And basically, they have another... But this time... Bully Ray goads him to come into the ring, and Joseph Park almost tries to hit him before says he'll sue Joseph Park if he does, which kind of makes me wonder, what should Joseph Park, you're a lawyer. Bully Ray kind of beat the crap out of you last week with a chain, no less. That's assault with a deadly weapon, my friend. You're a lawyer, and
apparently
you can't even figure that out.
Apparently Joseph Park's as stupid as his brother.
Yeah. So anyways, all this builds up to is...
I love how...
What are you going to say?
Yeah? Said I love how he's not offended. Joseph Park isn't offended when he says, I'm going to beat up your brother and your father, but he's offended when he says, I'm going to beat up your brother. So you don't care about your parents? I did beat up your brother. Yeah. Yeah, I did beat up your brother.
Yeah.
Logic.
By the way, anyways, Slammiversary, it's going to be Bully Ray versus Joseph Park.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Joseph Park, who supposedly has never wrestled. Yep, 10th anniversary card. We're going to have Bully Ray versus a guy who's apparently never wrestled before. Even though we know he has.
Are we going to get a training segment next week, since it's the week before the pay-per-view?
Oh, God. It's going to have to be next week, because Slammiversary is 10 days away. Yeah. Then we do a commercial break. We had Jimmy J. I don't know who that is.
Jimmy J. Didn't that used to be a referee?
Yeah, okay, he's a referee, and SoCal Val promoted ShopTNA.com website. This is basically their stuff they did during the commercials.
SoCal Val's still there?
What? SoCal Val's still there, yeah.
Must not pay attention.
Yeah, it noted that Sting was going to be their star of the month, and that Jimmy J said he's pulling for Sting at Slammiversary.
I'm shocked.
Promoted the social media aspect of the show, which you'll find out later
is bullshit.
Is TNA what TNA thinks of them. We then have a video package of the undefeated streak of Crimson.
Who the hell cares?
And he says he can't be beaten. You know what? I didn't mind this at all. It was simple, and it didn't waste too much time.
Crimson versus Ryback.
We had Chris Sabin come out to the ring, and then Aries, we had a backstage segment where Aries was chatting with D'Lo Brown. Then he sprays his hair, but he accidentally sprays it over his head and hits Samoa Joe in the face. Samoa Joe glares at Aries, but Aries doesn't even freaking notice.
And we find out that Samoa Joe is alive.
Yeah, and by the way, I'd like to say, and I didn't even know that was freaking Samoa Joe. The camera was so bad. I didn't even know that was Samoa Joe.
I have to fast forward a couple times. I have to rewind it back a couple times.
Yeah. I didn't even know that was Samoa Joe. So anyways, we had a decent match between Aries and Chris Sabin, and
this should have been longer.
Yeah, it should. Oh, I agree. But in the end, Aries actually cradled up Sabin's cradle shock.
Irony.
And got the 1, 2, 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sabin looked unhappy about losing this match as he left the ring. And then we go backstage to Hulk Hogan. Not Brooks, not yet. Hulk Hogan talking to Taz because Taz is replacing Ric Flair as a judge on the gut check. Because
beat him if you can survive if he lets you.
Because apparently Ric Flair
how do you replace it? How do you replace an idiot with a bigger idiot?
Yep.
Good job, TNA. I applaud you.
Happy for the chance to be part of this. And he says that they're going to see the real Taz tonight, and not everyone's going to like the real Taz.
Really? I didn't like the real Taz that we saw in 2000.
I actually didn't mind the real Taz, but if Taz didn't if it was the real Taz, he'd freaking Taz mission somebody.
Yes, Taz mission Jeremy Borash.
I know, he'd Taz mission somebody, but as you're going to find out, he's not gonna. Then
he's pussified Taz.
Commercial break, we had another wasted segment where Borash talked to all the TV title challengers.
Who can't? Why is Robbie E still there, by the way? D-Von's beaten him like 5 times already.
Yeah, Robbie E's still getting a title. He's one of the 4 choices, the other being Mr. Anderson, RVD, and Jeff Hardy. See which one of the 4 doesn't fit.
Robbie E?
Yeah.
He's already lost like 7 times.
He's 3 Hogan's buddies and the guy who won't leave us alone.
The guy who's nobody's friend.
Yeah. We then go to a backstage segment with the judges, and they were critiquing Joey Ryan's performance at Gut Check. They defeated his persona.
None of those judges want a mustache, right, apparently.
And Taz said it bothered him that Ryan didn't seem to look as if he was going into the fight of his life when the X Division champion is in the ring. Dude, you want talent.
Not somebody who's going to die.
You don't want somebody who's going to look like, oh dear God, they're going to kill me. And let me just say this right now. This is something they did mention. They'll mention later, but well, actually, you know what? Since they mentioned it later, I'm gonna leave that for later. We had Jeremy Borash backstage with the TV title contenders again, and we learned that we have little time left to vote. which I didn't.
Who cares?
Yeah, because I knew it was freaking winning. But enough of that stuff, because Dixie Carter's coming out to the ring with her entrance music, which according to
while I try not to yawn.
sounds like a chick from the Cranberries getting strangled.
Excuse me while I try not to yawn while Dixie Carter's talking.
And Dixie Carter talks about she can't believe TNA is celebrating 10 years at...
And she botches the name of the month of the frickin' pay-per-view, by the way.
Oh, no, she does more than that. She says on September 10th, which, by the way, is not an Impact date. I actually checked. September 10th is a Monday.
Whoopsie. Good job, Dixie. Promote your show on a day it's not even on.
No, it's even worse. It's on this. She's like thinking they're still competing with Raw.
Dixie, you idiot.
Dixie, you haven't competed with Raw since 2010. And that, in your run with Raw, was inducted into Wrestle Crap as the Gooker Award winner that year.
I do remember that.
It was that bad.
Orlando Jordan.
But anyways, she said on September 10th, they will announce the first inductee to the TNA Hall of Fame.
Who cares? It's probably Jarrett.
Dixie. 10 years. WWE waited until at least 20 years before they started having a Hall of Fame.
Yeah, 93.
That originally because Andre the Giant passed away.
Yes, but I think Dixie's surprised that TNA's lasted as long as it has, just like the rest of us.
No. But 10 years, no, you do not have a Hall of Fame yet.
You guys, TNA had trouble acknowledging their own freaking history.
Yeah, I think, when did WWE or WWF or WWF, I think they started in like the 70s.
They started their Hall of Fame in 93 with Andre.
Yeah, and I believe their existence wasn't started in the 70s.
1969.
Okay. Yeah. But anyways, that's nearly 20 years. That's almost 25 years. And they did it because Andre the Giant passed away. It really wasn't something they were going to do anyways. But it's something that they had to do because of that. But anyways...
And it became a yearly event for a few years.
It became a yearly event, then disappeared, then went back to a yearly event. Is now back to a yearly event. Anyways, because she can't talk anymore, she's got to bring out Brooke Hogan. My sources was booed out of the building, but through the...
I didn't hear it.
I didn't hear it either.
Brooke equals ratings. A big sign in the freaking crowd.
I love that sign. From the freaking Hulk Hogan lookalike.
Brooke equals turn the channel right now before she starts talking.
Turn the freaking channel, not ratings. Anyways...
Brooke equals turn the channel right now before she starts talking.
Yeah, I'm sure the knockouts are going to love that. Even though some of them are okay with it, I guess.
Yes, and the ones who don't care.
They're welcomed with wants to welcome her with open arms, which, of course, according to my sources, they really didn't.
With arms wide open.
But the edited version, but the TV people edited it down the booze. I actually will say this about Brooke. She did better than Dixie.
That doesn't take much. Dixie's got the personality of a high school principal.
I know. But it's a step.
It's sad when the VP of your knockouts is better than the face of your friggin' company.
I know. Anyways, backstage we had Daniels and Kazarian. Can't believe Dixie didn't touch on the AJ thing and says, since it's live TV...
Oh, she'll touch on AJ. She'll just do it later.
They have something to say after Daniels beat AJ tonight. And since it's his live, Dixie Carter can't possibly do anything about that.
Yes, she can. Just wait.
Oh, yeah. Spoiler, by the way. You just spoiled your own ending.
You idiot.
Yeah. During the commercial, we had Jeremy Borash once again talking to the TV title challengers. And nothing else happened here.
Good Lord. Why are they filling time with this segment?
No, yeah, these commercial segments that they've been airing on YouTube during commercial breaks. Basically,
TNA.
Your time.
TNA. Nobody cares.
Yeah. We then look back to another Slammiversary moment. This was actually a good moment. Christian Cage coming to TNA. Too bad he left. He's now in WWE. He's their Intercontinental Champion right now. Former two-time World Champion.
Well, TNA doesn't have many actual good moments, but anyway.
I know, and this was one of them.
Have they used the Raven one yet from when he won the title in 2005?
I think they might, but this is a Slammiversary moment. Christian Cage coming to TNA from WWE TNA did not happen at Slammiversary.
Happened at Genesis.
Yeah, it did happen at Genesis when Genesis was in December.
November. Because it was a pay-per-view after Bound.
Oh yeah, November, yeah. When Genesis happened in November, Christian Cage showed up. Yeah. But this is a big TNA moment. But anyways, we now have that the winner of the fan poll, nobody...
Jeff Hardy.
Surprise!
Jess Harvey.
Yeah, 40% he won by.
Yes, a bit different than the 80% that voted for Joey Ryan.
Yeah. Well, they had more. They had 4 options this time instead of the 2 options they had with the Joey Ryan option. Either yes or no with Joey Ryan. They had Jeff Hardy, Robbie E.
Who no one's going to pick.
Mr. Anderson. Actually, you'll be surprised, Mr. Anderson. And, had
I voted, I probably would have picked Anderson.
Well, anyways, we had Devon versus Jeff Hardy, which here's the beginning of how TNA thinks of their fans. This didn't end clean. Because
and with Robbie E and Robbie T.
Robbie T and Robbie E interfered, and a no contest was ensued. So
Robbie E, you lost 5 times already. Get over it. Move on.
Yeah, you lost the pay-per-view. You lost at a show before Lockdown. You lost at Lockdown. You and Robbie T lost at Sacrifice.
3 strikes, you're out.
You're done. Move on.
Tag up and
move on.
Help out the ever-blooming tag team division in TNA.
But anyways, the Robbies get taken out. We then have another good segment where James Storm is at home talking about how he was not happy about what happened at Lockdown.
Wah.
No, oh, come on. Seriously, it was in his neighborhood and he let people down. This is a big deal for some people.
Yeah.
You're in your home area, you're back down, and then your daughter says, "Are you going to go back to wrestling?" Storm thinks about it, says, "Cut the camera." Because he's probably gonna have a sad moment.
Okay, that's fine. The rest of it, though,
You know what? It's a big deal. He lost to the guy who screwed him.
In his hometown.
In his hometown. And he lost.
I get that it's tough to get over, but come on now.
And he lost because he was an idiot.
I get that it's tough to get over to lose in your hometown, but come on now.
He lost in his hometown. He let everyone down because was an idiot. Because of what happened, how he lost it. Because he had to kick. He could have won the match, but he had to kick Robert Roode with the last call super kick, and that ended up being his downfall. Because Roode was near the cage door and fell out. So I don't mind this. I don't mind people having like, what more can I do? I screwed it. I screwed it up.
If he's going to come back as a heel, I have a feeling.
No, I think he's going to come back as a face. I think he's going to finally say that he figured it out, and he's going to go after Roode again.
And there's your Bound for Glory main event.
Allow Sting to win the belt.
If they don't allow Sting to win the belt, they can build that up for Bound for Glory.
I know. We then go to the ring where Jerry Borash introduces the gut check judges. Bruce, I am not Brother Love Pritchard.
I do not love you.
Al Snow.
And Taz.
And someone said, where's Head as the judge? I'm like, oh, come on, only male mannequins are... This is TNA, only male mannequins get a voice.
Male mannequins?
Yeah, only male mannequins get a voice here. Not female ones. They don't get anything. Anyways, Jerry Borash asks if they've seen enough to make a decision, and he says they had, so they come out with Joey Ryan. Joey Ryan basically announces that he is probably trending worldwide on Twitter. I didn't check, so I don't know if he did or didn't.
And why does that matter?
And here's the thing that is going to tell you the 87% of the fans on ImpactWrestling.com said yes to hiring Joey Ryan.
Which means...
but in the end, here's what they said. JB asked the judge what they thought of Joey Ryan. Bruce says that what he saw of him last week and this week, he's a hell of a talent, but after 12 years in the business for Joey, his answer is no. 12 years in the freaking business, dude has the right to have a little bit of an attitude.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to say no and despite what the fans want, that's why Jeff Hardy's still hired, you numbnuts. Jeff Hardy's hired because of the fans, not because of what his backstage characteristics.
If his backstage stuff was,
how they chose things, he'd be fired. He would not be here. But the fans love the guy, so he's there. So nice, Bruce Pritchard. And Joey basically calls him out on it and says that Bruce Pritchard to ignore 87% of the fan space is irresponsible, which I agree with.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, some people have known Bruce Pritchard is a bit of a dick.
Yes.
Al Snow says he does not like his attitude because he acts like he already has a job here. But it's not about whether Al likes him. Listen to that, Bruce. Al says it's rather whether he has potential. He says yes, because the kid does have potential.
Mm-hmm.
So then Taz comes up and said as if that the promo he said, if that's the promo used to get in the door, he's out of his damn mind. And then the two got into an argument. And Taz basically says no. So basically, yeah. 87% of the votes, and both Taz and Brother Love, because they didn't like him, it's no. So I'd like to say now, fuck you for tonight. Fuck you hard. Because you let your ego go over what the fans want. And in this business, in wrestling, it's what the fans want. And tonight, TNA has basically said to everyone that the fans don't mean shit to them.
Mm-hmm.
So, TNA, I'm going to basically give you the middle finger tonight. Because you gave us all this one for tonight. And anyways, backstage, we had Jerry Borash and Earl Hebner. Earl Hebner says Joey Ryan is a lucky man to speak to Taz that way. No,
yes.
Lucky man to speak to Taz that way, because Taz says he's going to be the real Taz. He wasn't. Taz wouldn't put up with that bullshit. If he was the real Taz would have freaking
choked his ass out.
Or stretched him. The guy who was basically... ECW had a school for a short time. I believe School of Hard Knocks, and Taz was one of the trainers.
Chris Chetty and Danny Doran came out of that school, yeah. I believe.
And Taz freaking stretched people. Taz was a freaking hard ass, as I heard. So
Taz was ECW's Hardcore Holly.
Yeah. He would basically hurt you if you...
Mm-hmm.
But basically, this is not the real Taz at all. Anyways, we also had... Hebner says he's getting ready to referee Styles versus Daniels, and he's excited to be on live TV. Morrison brings in TV production manager Steve Small, who, if you remember, Steve Small did that little during one of the tapings called the Impact Crowd cast members. It's the same dope. It basically called them out saying that you got to stop being mean to the Impact wrestlers and stuff, because you're not going to get your 4 rings. You're not going to get your 6 rings anymore. I'm sorry. We're changing things. He bait that dumbass. Anyways, Borash...
Shut up, Steve.
Says that they were bringing in people who normally don't get interviewed on camera. So they were talking to Brian Hebner. Brian says that if Joey Ryan...
Still employed.
Dialed it back a bit, he may have gotten a chance, but pushed too hard, and that was a no-go. Look, if your fans want him, that's the reason Jeff Hardy's hired. That's the reason you have Rob Van Dam on your roster. That's the reason Mr. Anderson is still kind of pushed.
Austin Aries.
Yeah, Austin Aries.
Go on and on.
This is your longest reigning X Division champion. These are guys who the
AJ Styles, Daniels, Kazarian, Angle.
How many like the guy? Guess what? The reality is, and TNA does not know this, and apparently has no idea about this, that the fans tell you who they want and who they don't want. Joey Ryan got a reaction out there. And whether you like that or not, whether your EO is hurt because of what Joey Ryan does, he's still going to get hired. So I'm sorry, TNA, that's a fail still. Anyways, we go back to London where we saw a segment where Bobby Roode was down there. But this was about 5 months ago. And he said he was here defending 5 months ago. He was back in England at some time in the future. And then nobody thought he could defend his title against the top stars in TNA. But he showed them, and he's now the longest reigning TNA champion.
Yep.
It's main event time. AJ Styles versus Christopher Daniels. This was basically a short time. We went to commercial break, and during that commercial break, we also saw that we found out how much that we actually revealed Robbie E only received 8% of the vote. So, yeah, he did receive some votes.
I want to know who that 8% was.
I want to know. But basically, Robbie was pissed, called the fans hamsters. But
you fans are hamsters, and I don't know how to come up with an insult.
Yeah. And anyways, we go back to the match. Surprise, surprise, AJ wins. Daniels has beaten AJ, I believe, only once. In the 10 million times they've fought. I believe AJ...
Over 10 years.
Yeah. Over 10 freaking years, because I believe both of them were at the show from, maybe I think they were day one, maybe I think Daniels may have come later, maybe.
I think Daniels was 03, but AJ's been there since day one.
Maybe Daniels was a year later, but they fought each other, and anyways, afterwards, Kazarian runs in and beats the crap out of AJ. Kurt Angle tries to get in, but he gets beaten up and handcuffed. AJ
tied to the ropes.
What?
Tied to the ropes.
Yep, tied to the ropes. And then AJ gets hit with the belt.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Daniels motions for a mic. SoCal Val gives it to him and says that since the fans aren't convinced by pictures and video,
because they're stupid,
positive, which is a freaking phone call, which is Dixie tells AJ to come over and not to tell Serge. He says,
turn it off.
Yeah, which AJ says he wouldn't miss it for the world, and asks how much they have how much time do they have before he gets home.
And that's when AJ decides. That's when Dixie decides to sprint out there.
Yeah, Dixie comes out.
Not when they start the phone call.
Cut. Dixie says to everyone, cut the stuff. So, and that's basically how we end, and we heard that that's it, you're through as we go off the air.
Who is she talking to? Tanae?
I don't know. Maybe she's
Keith in the truck?
Knowing TNA, she's probably talking to the tag champs.
But they've got a title match at Slammiversary.
The tag champs, you're going to have them drop the belt because they basically may have...
They outed you?
Had an affair with AJ Styles. Both of who you and AJ both are married, by the way. I'd like to admit.
Adultery! The phenomenal adulterer.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the end of Impact. Basically, my plot of this show is a big middle finger.
And because I thought it was good.
What you think was good or bad?
I thought, for the most part, the show was good, other than the gut check thing, which I think is a waste of time to begin with. If they're not going to sign Ryan. But other than that, the matches were good.
My problem is Sting wins. We're getting Sting versus Bobby Roode at Slammiversary. You've basically already told the fans don't buy this pay-per-view because it's Bobby Roode versus an old man.
It's the same match you just had on free TV.
Yeah, by the way. 15
minutes. Yeah. That's the one problem I have, yes.
Yes. And
other than Brooke Hogan.
We had a repeat of Bully Ray versus Joe Clark again. Basically, the same freaking thing happened as the last time, except this time we got a freaking match.
Yes, and the Slammiversary, the big reveal is that Abyss and Joseph Park are the same person. Yeah, if you already didn't know that.
Yeah, if you already didn't know that.
Well, I don't think the TNA, the Impact Zone audience realizes it.
Oh, of course not. Or maybe they're just being,
ignorance is bliss.
They don't give a crap anymore. They're like, go ahead. Go freaking ahead. We'll cheer and boo you.
We're here. We don't pay to get in here anyway.
Yeah, we don't pay to get in here. We'll do your dang jobs. Yeah. Anyways, I hated the Devon Jeff Hardy match, which I thought was a waste of freaking time.
Yes, 5 minutes and then you have Robbie E interfere.
10,000. The only match that was decent was Aries versus Staben, and even that should have been given more damn time. So yeah, I hated this show. I'm sorry, TNA. You fucked up. If this is how you're going to treat people at 8 p.m. on
back to 9.
Your plans for live TV an hour earlier, then I don't like your future. I just don't. And also, this is the best time you have to go against WWE. Because WWE, if people haven't noticed,
sucks.
At their moment, they did 2.7 and got their asses kicked by the History Channel. A History show did the highest non-sports rated cable show. It beat the crap out of you.
That's the sign of the times.
Yeah. You got beat by the Hatfields McCoy thing, which I'll give him credit, that has Kevin Costner in it. But you got beaten by the History Channel. You're not... WWE is not a juggernaut at this point. So you have a chance. But you're not... obviously, with this product, you're saying, we're not going to do that. No. We're still going to be the same.
We don't care.
We were. And that's why, in the end, you're going to probably go bankrupt. TNA's probably going to die. And in the end, there's going to be a death to TNA book. Because you suck.
Because Artie and Blade need to have that kind of time.
And I hate to say this, but I think we're just waiting for the end here. I think me and Mike are just waiting for the end. And when it comes, we'll be like, TNA's going to end with a whimper. Not a big
Throw a party. TNA's over.
Well, yeah. Spike TV canceled us. Nobody else wants us. We better close the doors and sell it to Vince McMahon for a penny.
And Vince won't want us.
No,
He'll take
Vince,
our talent.
Vince will buy it for the library.
Yes, the extensive library of AJ Styles Daniels matches.
Yeah, and the unbreakable matchup between Joe, Daniels, and Styles. So he'll get some good stuff out of that.
And the best of Abyss.
Yeah, he'll get some stuff out of that. So it wouldn't be a complete waste for Vince to buy TNA. He's probably going to throw it in the shelf or the trash can.
Right.
Not do an invasion angle with TNA at all, because TNA's not worth that damn time to embarrass.
We'll just take the talent we want. Joe, AJ, Daniels, Kazarian, Matt Morgan, Crimson.
Yeah, we'll just take
all
the talent
you guys.
We'll just take the talent we want, and the rest can go.
All the guys we already had to begin with.
Yeah.
Come on back.
Yeah.
Bobby Roode.
So yeah.
Come over here.
So yeah, that's this whole show. This whole show I thought was a middle finger. Mike thought it was okay. That's the end of the show. Do you have anything to say before we end this thing?
I'd say we'll be back here next week for another episode. I hope those who get a chance to listen to the show this week enjoy it, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Yeah, we will. Sorry we're not that nice this time. I'm sorry to everyone. We're a little more somber. I'm somber. I'm completely tired of this crap. But this is what Impact's doing to me.
Yep. We will talk to you again next week.
Yeah, I believe next week's show will be better.
I doubt it.
I know.